There's one word that you are probably using that is slowly destroying your life. It's a 4-letter word, not one of those 4-letter words. It's highly offensive, and it keeps you playing into a soul-sucking social ritual. But before I tell you that word, hey, what's up, friend? My name is Julian. One of my goals on this channel is to help you paint more and paint better so you can finally become that artist you have always dreamed of. Today, we are taking a break from painting and we are diving into some mindset shifts that we need in order to paint more and paint better. Because chances are, if you are saying this one word, you're not painting nearly as much as you could be or want to be. So if you like this type of content, please like this video, subscribe to this channel, and click that notification bell so I can help you paint more and paint better. All right, so have you guessed what the word is? It starts with a B and ends with a Y, and that awful word is busy. Busy, busy, busy. All right, so in order to understand why this word is so destructive, let me ask you a question. Has this ever happened to you? So last week I was at the store and I saw an acquaintance and I asked her, "Hey, how are you doing?" And she responded with, "I'm so busy." And then a few days later, I invited a friend over for dinner and they said they couldn't because they were too busy. Or back in the day when I was working in an office as an engineer in a booming town, I got this question all the time. "Hey, how's it going? Are you keeping busy?" I absolutely hate this question. What does busy even mean? And have you ever stopped to consider how it actually makes you feel? No? All right, well, let's do that. According to the dictionary, busy means occupied with activity, foolishly or intrusively active. And my personal favorite, excessively detailed or decorated. So basically being busy is like having a Pinterest board filled with all of your ideas explode onto your calendar and into the daily minutia of your life, even though we say we want to be peaceful and have a minute to rest. And yet, in this crazy society, busy is what most of us are striving for, to be decorated with activity. So let's get real. When somebody says they're busy, does that mean they're fulfilled? Inspired? Like when you ask that person at the store how they are and they come back with busy, it doesn't actually inform anything about how they're doing or what their life is even like, besides chaotic. When you ask somebody how they're doing and they respond with busy, are you left feeling more connected to that person, understanding of them, informed, interested, inspired, excited to talk to them more? Do you get any warm and fuzzies? Next time you hear somebody say that they're just so busy, stop for a second and consider how it makes you feel. My guess from my own experience is that when somebody responds with they are so busy, it feels very barren and really chaotic. Speaking of the word barren, Socrates said around 4000 BC, "Beware the barrenness of a busy life." I don't know about you, but I think it is totally crazy that even back then, people were busy. I think it's hilarious to imagine somebody in ancient Greece saying, "I cannot come to dinner, I am far too busy." And then turning around and walking the 3 miles back home. If Socrates called this out in a world that didn't have phones, didn't have cars, or the internet, imagine what he would say now. With emails, Zoom calls, doom scrolling, your phone blowing up all the time with text messages and phone calls. Like I said, in this society, for some reason, we are expected to be busy. And if we're not, we have somehow failed. Even though deep down, we all want to be peaceful and calm. Okay, so here's a wild stat that you've probably heard of. The average adult spends more than 2.5 hours scrolling on their phone. That is more than 900 hours per year of a once-in-a-lifetime unique chance to live. That is enough time to paint hundreds of watercolors and pick up any form of creativity or hobby that you'd be interested in, or write a novel or take a walk every single day. So if you find yourself saying, "I don't have time to paint," what you really mean is I am not making time to paint because I am giving my time to other things. And if those other things are more important than painting, then that's fine. But if they're not more important than painting, if there's something like doing the dishes for the 50th time or doom scrolling on your phone, then that's not okay. And we really need to reconsider so we can take control of our lives. So oftentimes it's not actually that we're too busy, we're just being busy doing the wrong things. So a quick backstory about this realization in my own life. Years and years ago, I too thought being busy meant that I was being super productive. Even back then, I really wanted to paint more, but I had this weird idea in my head, maybe you resonate with me on this, that I would be able to paint when I achieved X, Y, and Z. Like painting was gonna be the thing I did in my free time then, but not now because I'm too busy being productive. This was years and years ago when I was learning about entrepreneurship, and I was literally throwing all the different ideas at the wall like spaghetti to see what would stick. I was working on a Kickstarter campaign for something
I really didn't care about. I was trying to sell super cheap imported crap from China on Amazon, even though I hate cheap crap from China. I was learning currency trading, which made me feel glued to a screen type crazy.
I was doing all sorts of super unaligned things in order to be able to paint in the future. And when I wasn't working specifically on those things, I was checking my email 50 times a day or doing the dishes for the 20th time that day. I told myself I was getting stuff done and keeping up with my life, but honestly, I was just avoiding the things that matter the most, like painting, exercising, taking a moment for my mind and walking around the neighborhood to look at flowers, going to bed early, reading books. This was before I had my son, by the way, so thank goodness I figured all this out before he came along. Have you ever noticed that the first things that we ditch when life gets busy are the things that we absolutely need to stay healthy and happy? Then I heard something that completely changed my life forever and finally got me onto the right trajectory. I was listening to an interview with this guy named Derek Sivers, who's a tech entrepreneur. And he said in this interview that he hates the word busy because it implies that you have no control over your life. He suggested using words like choices or commitment instead of busy. And somehow the way he phrased this and said it hit me like a ton of bricks. I looked at my plate and realized that it was overflowing with things that were completely unaligned. Like, I didn't even like the projects I had put on my plate. I had completely overcommitted myself to projects and people that just weren't filling my cup. Right there, I made the decision to slowly but surely start cleaning off my plate all of these things that I didn't even want on it in the first place. In the process of untangling this mess of misalignment, I would sit with the thing that I had committed to and I would ask myself, do I want this? If the answer was no, I would get rid of it. If I wasn't sure, I would put it in the maybe pile for evaluation, and if it was a hell yes, it would stay. And suddenly, as if by magic, I had time to do the things I loved most, which was painting. Like all of a sudden, the thing that I was working towards being able to do was the thing that I could do now. Now, before you just start going and ditching commitments, you really have to evaluate it for yourself. Beware of falling for things like the fallacy of sunk costs, where you have already committed so much time, energy, and money to something, you feel like you just can't stop now. Or pleasing other people, you have to ask yourself, is your soul in it? Does it bring you joy? And most importantly, is it giving you space in your life to breathe? Now, it needs to be a real soul commitment. Of course, you have to take care of yourself and your family first, but we can't just people please everybody for the sake of it. In the end of the day, most things really just don't matter. Now, believe me, when I was going through this process, I had a lot of people pleaser issues to work through. And if that's you too, well, you just gotta work through that discomfort of disappointing other people to take care of yourself first and foremost. Because if you're not spending this one beautiful life doing what you love the most, it means that you're not giving your greatest self to the world. And that's a tragedy. So in conclusion, let me ask you, what are you committed to? And what is on your plate that doesn't belong there anymore? Busy says yes to everything, but committed says yes to the things that matter most. Maybe you're committed to keeping your evenings open so you can hang out with your kids or your spouse, go on long walks, or paint. Commitment doesn't have to be something big or grand. So do you like what's on your plate? If you don't like it, can it go? What are you excited about? And what do you want to commit to? With this, I challenge you to stop saying the word busy as it pertains to your life. It is not a good descriptor of your one precious life you are living. Now, of course, sometimes we have a lot going on, and if that's the case, say it. Say, I have some cool stuff going on. Or say, I'm working on some projects I'm really excited about. Or sometimes the honest answer is just to say, I'm okay. If you can't do something because you have a lot going on, stop using the word busy as an excuse. Because you don't want to be busy. You want to be peaceful, calm, excited, and inspired. And most importantly, in control of your life. If painting has been calling you, but you have been lying to yourself that you've been too busy, this is your sign to start. Those dirty dishes can wait for a little bit longer to give you time to paint. And if you don't know where to start, I have a free beginner watercolor class I want to invite you to that will help you reconnect with the creative parts of yourself without the overwhelm or perfectionism. The link to that free class is below in the description. I can't wait to see you there. And if you already have been painting but you struggle with mixing mud, last week I made a video on how to bring muddy colors back from the brink of disaster. And if you want to watch that video, you don't have to go anywhere. You can just click on it because it's coming up right now.